This week we are coming at you live from Kansas City's Planet Comicon 2023. Welcome to the Infinite Taylorverse. Warning.
Red alert.
Danger, Will Robinson! Danger!
That's the emergency alert.
This episode is full of spoilers for some of the latest and greatest nerdy movies and shows.
Spoilers.
Listener discretion is advised. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Infinite Taylorverse podcast. I'm Billy Taylor.
And I'm Taylor Oxner.
And we are here at Planet Comicon Kansas City getting our nerd on. And Taylor, how's your day been? How's it been for you?
My day's been amazing. So I've been looking for this figure for about, like a year and a half?
At least, yeah.
Yeah, and found him at the bottom of a bin and got him for like $8, which was way less than I expected paying, and I got a complete figure. So I'm winning today.
Getting a Grail is so bittersweet because you have your Grail, but now you don't have your Grail search anymore.
Yeah, I gotta figure out the next step.
Yep. But yeah, we've been hanging out here. As you're going to hear soon, we've met some really cool people. We got a few little mini interviews and some of our friends you've heard from before, some new voices. And we're just excited to talk about the con. For me personally, there's been some really cool people I've had a chance to meet. One of those people was Diane Guerrero from Encanto, Doom Patrol, Orange is the New Black. And she did a really cool shout out for my kids as her character from Encanto. And I'll throw that in here so you guys can hear it.
Hello, Charlie, Georgia, Oliver, and Henry. How are you guys? I'm just here with your dad, and he lets me know that you love Encanto, and that just makes me so happy. So thank you. Oh yeah, I play Isabella, so that's one thing.
Yep. Your boyfriend's here.
Are you serious? I don't want to get married. I thought I made a point. I made this a point.
But yeah, that was so awesome. And then got to meet D. Bradley Baker, the voice actor from every possible thing you can think of. Avatar: The Last Airbender. He's Appa and Momo. He's Rex and all the clones on Star Wars: The Clone Wars. And Perry the Platypus, you name it, he's in it. He did a really cool Taylorverse shout out, so listen to that real quick.
This is D. Bradley Baker, the voice of the clones and Perry the Platypus, encouraging everyone in the Taylorverse to do your studies and have a lot of fun learning and reading. This is Captain Rex out.
And then Gray Delisle, who is also from Avatar: The Last Airbender, Fairly Odd Parents, Loud House, so many different things you can think of. She did a really cool shout out as Fire Lord Azula to my kids. Listen to that.
Greetings, Charlie, Oliver, Georgia, and Henry. It is I, the Fire Lord Azula speaking. I'm here with your father, and he's a lot nicer than my father. And you're all banished, the whole family. Hi.
But yeah, we've just had a chance to meet so many cool people. Got to see Giancarlo Esposito, legend Richard Dreyfuss, Jonathan Frakes, so many really cool folks. And not just the celebrities, but some really cool creators. I know Taylor just had a really long conversation with Buster Moody, and that was pretty cool.
Yeah, always love seeing him. Every con I go, buy a print, say hey, catch up.
Right? Tell them about the really cool print you just got.
Oh, the print that he released just recently is the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and it's like a Where's Waldo style.
That's really awesome.
And you just look for the certain parts, and then once you get there, just like always, there's like the find and how many and all that.
No, that's super cool. A lot of times, other than meeting cool people and, getting to see some of your favorite celebrities, I'm usually looking for something cool to buy. But this year, I didn't have a goal, a Grail, or a
no Funko that popped out at you.
Yeah, I looked, and there's a few that I wanted that happened to be of characters of people who were here, the actors. But man, pops that would have been, 20 on eBay were like 60 because the people are here. And it makes sense. I'm not disparaging them, but I've kind of refrained and saved the money for the photo ops and stuff. And it's just been so much fun. I'm probably going to have to go after we wrap up a little bit, look for a couple prints because I haven't done that yet. And I like to, not only do I love the art, but I like to support those guys too.
Yeah.
And we've been doing a really cool giveaway, so I want to give a quick shout out to everyone that's followed us from Planet, whether you subscribed to Apple or Spotify or followed us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, whatever. Thank you guys for doing that. We had the opportunity to give everyone that did that at the con this really cool Deadpool book And also a shout out to Cullen Bunn, who's here, the author, doing autographs and things at his booth. He came and talked to me yesterday, and he's like, I was trying to figure out where all these books are coming from. And then I told him the cool story about they were donated to me from our library at school, and I had the opportunity to give them out to people at the con. So shout out to my school, shout out to Cullen Bunn, and shout out to obviously all of you guys who followed us from this convention. So thanks. Hopefully you guys stick around, and we got some really cool things in store the next year. So again, thanks.
Yeah, thank you so much. We're very, very excited, and we're ready to do this with you guys.
Yeah. So coming up, we've got some cool interviews that we're going to pop in here, and let's just listen up. I'm sitting here with our friend, our sponsor, Derek from KingCade Arcade and the Retro Zone. Derek, how you been doing, man?
Man, I'm doing super good. It's been super fun out here today. I got a lot of love for Comicon and more. I got a lot of love for Old School Gamer Magazine. Ryan's been dope, man.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun sitting with these guys. I mean, it makes sense. Everyone is still interested in all the old school games, right?
Oh, dude, everybody loves it. And that's why I love to bring the old school arcade games through, because, I mean, people literally get to experience the loss of quarters that they,
Right.
used to spend in that, and they get that redemption spot. So, the old school arcade games, man, like, it's dope to bring that whole vibe to the community, and, like, we're the only ones that have them here every year, so.
Right. And just from the traffic, there's been a lot of people stopping by to play, so I know everyone's appreciative of it. They get to do the free play, and everyone's excited about it.
Hey, that's really what it's about. Like, that free play, the idea of, not having to throw money into a machine to, like, have some fun for a little bit means a lot to these people, man. And it's all about the community. At the end of the day, we love our community, and we want them to have fun. And that's why, like, back at the mall at KingCade, that's why we do so low prices, our low prices, $5 for kids, $10 for adults. At the end of the day, man, we want you to have fun, and we want it to be affordable.
That's awesome. Yeah, I've had a few people tell me even today and yesterday, hey, we're so glad you guys talk about the arcade because we learned about them through you, and we're going to be regular customers now, so that's pretty dope.
Heck yeah, man. I love our community. It's all about the community.
Yep. So on a personal level, what are you real excited about at Comic-Con other than all this really cool gaming stuff?
Man, I love to network and connect with all these vendors, being on the con side of things and knowing how it all works and goes down. It's great to meet these new vendors, try to recruit some, to come at KC Retro, but it's also great to do some of these deals, man. I got some great deals out here today with Pokemon and even some stuff for my son. Everybody's in a great mood. The vendors are really, I think, my favorite thing at the con. And that's funny because people are like, dude, it's the famous people,
Right.
And it's like, but for me, it's different. I love to see the reaction on people's faces when they get a good deal for something that they want. It means a lot to them, and it means a lot to the person giving it to them.
That's right. That's awesome. Mm-hmm. Well, I'm one of those other people. I got to meet Mr. Feeney yesterday, so...
Dude, and you need to meet some of these guys, because, I feel like a lot of these guys have been doing cons for so long that they're probably about to get out of it,
I'll bet. He's in his upper 90s. I can't imagine doing that at that age.
It's wild, man. I have a lot of respect for those guys that are doing it, though, and they do it for the people, and that's why I love it so much, because it matters to these people to get that handshake, to get that signature, to just see that person, it's what makes Comic-Con so fun, I guess, too,
Yeah. Awesome. Well, hey, I hope you have a good rest of the weekend at the con, and thanks for dropping in with us, man.
Dude, anytime. I love what you guys do. You guys are super consistent, and it proves so much in length what you guys do, and the nerdom community, I can just tell, loves you guys.
Awesome. Well, we love you back. All right, man. We'll see you.
All right, homie.
Hey, everybody. We are sitting here at Planet Comic-Con, and right now I'm here with Ryan Berger, and he is the publisher of Old School Gamer Magazine. Ryan, how you been doing, man?
Oh, I've been having fun. We've been doing this for a couple of years now. The KingCade guys have sponsored us. They work with you, so they kind of hooked the two of us up. This is so cool. So yesterday was crazy, man.
It was nuts. And people who go to cons know that Saturday is usually the crazy day. It's been so nuts that Friday was a little crazy.
It was a little bit nuts. It's picking up a little bit here. There's probably a couple people going to church this morning that are heading this direction. It'll be crazy by 1 o'clock again. I don't know what they're going to do to spread the people out.
Right. Well, hey, give our listeners a little bit of an idea of what you guys do and the things you do for events and just in general.
Well, this is my side hustle. I've been a publisher of some kind for about 25 years, starting out on the internet, then publishing a magazine for mobile disc jockeys, the guys who do school and wedding dances and that kind of stuff.
Yep.
And about 5.5 years ago, I went to my first one of, probably my second or third one of these cons that is specifically just for retro video games, an event called Classic Game Fest. And the Classic Game Fest event down in Austin, Texas got me excited about this kind of stuff. I decided to use my skills of what I do as a publisher to make a magazine for retro video gamers. And it's cool because I'm able to kind of relive video games from another perspective. I mean, I grew up primarily in the 80s. I'm 50 years old, so I grew up in the 80s, and right at the era of the Atari going into the Nintendo, then also the Apple II computer and all that kind of stuff. And what I was able to do is see that there was a need for a magazine, print magazine. We do digital version for free, but a print magazine that no one else was doing, and we decided to fill that need. So now 33 issues later, I've gotten to meet all the stars of the industry, got to meet like Ken and Roberta Williams. I could trade emails with John Romero from Doom fame, David Crane, who started Activision. I can call these people up. I mean, it's just crazy awesome. But we write about that kind of stuff. Anything from the home console scene to arcade to pinball to retro computers. We cover it. We've got a crew. We've got some paid staff that are doing this kind of as a part-time thing because they put a ton of time into it. But we got dozens of other people that help out in some form with this mission of mine to document the video game industry from the actual sources. Because, I mean, the founders of this industry are now like 70, 80 years old. We got to get their stories down before they go away.
No, that's really cool. I know personally I love all kinds of games, but the ones that are most near and dear to my heart are more of the classic ones.
Yeah, well, it's all about when you were in high school and college.
Yep.
You know, a little bit before that, yes. I mean, I remember playing in my Intellivision, but not as much as I remember playing on the Sega Genesis.
Yep.
Which is when I was out in college. We've got a Mortal Kombat 1 machine. I can picture the exact place at Iowa State University on Welch Avenue where I first played that.
Yep.
And eventually, when I get a set of wheels that can haul that thing, I'm taking that one home.
Yep.
Adding it to my collection of grails that I have. I have my Ultimate games I've always wanted. I still have a couple more to gather on that, but then otherwise, I kind of buy and sell arcade games when I see them.
That's awesome. For me, when I think of arcade games, I think back to the 90s, early 2000s, and our Pizza Hut had a Street Fighter 2. And I just put a lot of quarters in that thing.
For me, I'm a decade older than you. I picture a Donkey Kong up at the front, one of those cocktail ones, like we got sitting out here.
Yep.
And Dad would give you a couple quarters while you're waiting for the pizza. That's back when we actually ate pizza at the hut.
Yep.
Not all delivery like they are now. But that's what we did. And then you go up to the mall with a roll of quarters from your McJob or whatever, and you blow a roll of quarters. Nowadays, we got these barcades and wristband arcades that you can buy a wristband, go in and play all day.
Yep.
One of my favorites is Galloping Ghost in Chicago. He's got 800 or 900 arcade machines in one building. You pay $20-25 to get in. Play all you want. Play games that don't exist anywhere else. So it's awesome stuff.
That is awesome. Okay, so console or upright arcade, modern, old, all the above. If you had to pick a favorite game or line of games, what's your favorite?
My ultimate favorite game that I play every time I see it is Galaga.
Okay.
1983, 84, something like that. I'm not very good at it. I'm also not very good at Tron or Robotron, but I like playing them just for the thrill of it.
Yep.
The thrill in Galaga of having the double ship and doing the challenging stage, and they're all flying at you and actually getting all of them knocked out.
Yep.
It's just fun stuff. I also am thoroughly enjoying, this is a family business, so taking my kids and showing them some of the stuff from back then. My kids are retro kids.
That's awesome.
My daughter can name tracks from the 80s. My 20-year-old daughter. It's just, I've got to share this stuff with them. I hardly ever go to one of these cons without one of the kids with me. Unless I'm flying in and out real quickly, I take them with me. We have fun. I mean, my daughter got to meet William Shatner.
Yep.
And Brent Spiner from Star Trek, so that's another thing. And at these, we do that. Most of the cons we do are specifically only retro gaming.
Yep.
With the exception of local stuff, which this is 3 hours away from us, I consider that local. The Des Moines one and the Kansas City one are easy for us to get to. The other stuff that we work with KingCade on, with those retro KC events, stuff like that. Yeah, we'll do all those, but mainly we travel for the big dozen or so across the country, pack up everything, and fly in, hand out some free magazines, talk to people, sell a couple keychains, and that pays for me to turn around and spend more money on
Right.
video games.
No, that's awesome. For me, it's not the first game I played, but the first game I really just sold to my heart was Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past on Super Nintendo. SNES was my first console, and so now I'm just addicted to any Zelda game that comes out. I have to play it.
And then they keep on reissuing those earlier ones
Yep,
as Switch versions and stuff and reimagined.
Yep.
Someone that's turned out to now be personally a friend of mine, Ken Williams, went back and took the 1971 original Colossal Cave Adventure text game that was played on mainframes and brought up into VR.
Yeah.
This is the guy who created Sierra online, made $1 billion, got out of the industry in 1995, came back and wanted to play with it. And playing the old stuff just has a different vibe to it.
Yep.
The modern games, it takes you an hour to really get into the game to learn how to play it, and then it's a 30, 40-hour thing. I like playing games I can play for 5 minutes and have fun with it. So
That's awesome. Well, hey, for everyone listening, tell them where they could find you on social media, find you, maybe your website, or how they could subscribe to your digital magazine.
the best way to find out about us is go to oldschoolgamer.com. We're not really too social media oriented. I want to do a little bit more of that, but oldschoolgamer.com. And if you're listening and you run a podcast or any kind of channels, get a hold of us. We love to spread the word. We love being part of the community. And even if you're running an event, especially anywhere in the Midwest, we love coming out for these kinds of things. So oldschoolgamer.com. You can sign up online there for the free version of it. A full subscription mailed to you is $50. Check out the free version first. Make sure you like it.
Awesome. Well, hey, Ryan, thanks so much for hopping on, and enjoy the rest of the convention.
I'm going to. I just got to stop spending so much money.
Right. Same. Right from the Pacific Northwest, from the amazing Worst Comic Podcast Ever, Mr. Cullen Stapleton. Cullen, how you been doing, man?
I'm doing great, Billy. It's really good to see you. This has been an amazing weekend.
Yeah, it's been super awesome. I'm so glad to have you on. We've collaborated with you guys several times, and you guys are kind of some of our podcast role models. You guys got this thing down, and we haven't had you on, so I'm happy that you're here for a couple minutes, man.
Yeah, I know. It's my pleasure. I'm so happy for you guys. Putting a podcast together is a lot more work than people think.
It is hard.
Yeah, and the good thing is that, you know, when you're trying to come up with ideas for the show and things like that, if you're doing it with friends, oftentimes organically, when you think you've hit a wall, and then all of a sudden you just start talking,
right?
And start remembering, you know, the passions that you have and the things that you share in common, and all of a sudden then it becomes less of a show thing and more of a conversation. And so it's been wonderful. I've been able to do the Worst Comic Podcast Ever with Jerry and John. We've been friends now for 40 years. But comics is what kept us together. It was the binding, and so playing at Comicon this weekend's been amazing. I think we all agree that it feels like what it did pre-COVID.
Yes.
Like last year, it felt like everyone was just happy to be together with other people again, just in general. And this year, it was like, hey, we want to come get our freak flag up and, start really having a great time. And so I think this weekend's been amazing, both for Kansas City, for the Hero Initiative, for those that are listening. Not only do we do our podcast, but sort of our core being is to volunteer for the Hero Initiative, which is a federally recognized nonprofit, and it helps comic creators in need. And while 40 years of friendship with Jerry and John is something to hang our hat on, we, as of this year, this show, have been volunteering for Hero for 20 years.
Oh, that's so awesome.
And so it's been, like we always like to say, like good things happen around the Hero table. Nobody ever comes to the Hero table with a bad attitude, right? Yep. You come to help. And so this whole weekend's just been amazing, being able to reconnect with you. It's been cathartic, and it feels good. And I miss all my friends back in the Pacific Northwest for sure, but it was nice. It felt comfortable to come back to Kansas City and get all the weathers in 72 hours. And so I've been chomping my antihistamines and keeping my rain jacket and my winter coat on. But it's been great, and I've gotten to check a lot of Kansas City foodie boxes. Right. Gotten my barbecue, gotten some Town Topic cheeseburgers. It's been a great weekend, and I really couldn't imagine this being any better.
That's awesome, man. But yeah, like I said earlier, it's always so cool to connect, and it's really cool that you've kept your connection with the long distance thing going on, and it just kind of shows you can be from anywhere and do this thing if you really put your heart into it.
Oh, absolutely. Jerry and John and I had been doing the podcast for a little over 3.5 years when I moved from Kansas City to the Pacific Northwest. So we were Zooming before COVID.
Right.
And so for us, there was no transition. And so it was super easy, and Zoom has advanced to the point where if you're doing this sort of thing remotely, they've got individual tracks or they combine it for you already, right? So these are things that have, made it easier to be able to bridge that distance between the three of us so we can continue to do it, but great experience.
That's super awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so aside from the podcasting stuff, what was kind of your nerd goal this weekend? Was there any artists or authors or celebrities or collectible you just had to go do or see or buy?
Yeah, I'll tell you, I've been in this game for a long time, and so I've kind of worked through the collecting bug from my comic book collection, but I've really felt like that my disposable income, my budget for things like this, I really want to work harder at putting them in the hands of the creators.
Yep.
And while I will absolutely admit that I'm a Marvel and DC guy, that's where I got started in 1982 reading comics, and I love my stories, and I love the colors, and I love the ridiculousness, but the artists, 20 years of volunteering for the Hero Initiative has taught me that no matter how much I love these books or how many people I get to read them, the creative community still is undervalued. They still don't usually come with pensions or retirement plans, things of that nature, and so that's why we're still doing this 20 years later. So for me, I've kind of had this mind shift where I want to put money in the hands of people that are paying their rent, their mortgage, paying grocery bills, and not to a corporation. And so right now, my big jam is my favorite character design is the Battle World Secret Wars Black Spidey outfit.
Yep.
And so a game changer for me as 15-year-old Cullen. And so this year at Planet Comicon, I got 3 Black Spidey commissions. One from Kevin Mellon, who is a storyboard artist and director of shows like Archer and Hit Monkey. Our Hero Initiative guest, Dexter Vines, did a headshot for me. By the way, I just want to say, I slept on Dexter Vines' career. This gentleman has been in the business for almost 30 years, and I promise if you've got a collection, Dexter Vines has got a book in it. And so
I know I saw at his table Mandalorian number 7, and I'm like, I know I have that. I should have brought it.
Yeah, right? And so if you have an opportunity, go check out. He's an inker primarily, but he had long runs with Ed McGuinness on Batman Superman. He was the inker on McNiven's pencil work for Civil War.
Oh, yeah.
So he's seen some stuff, and so he did one, and then my final one, I'm getting one from Baltimore Rivas.
Oh, nice.
And so I'm really excited. So I think for right now, Black Battle World Spidey is my jam, and I'm going to start building a commission, a group of commissions around that.
Oh, that is so awesome.
Yeah.
Well, hey, we love you guys. We plug you guys all the time, but for someone who might be new to listening, where could they find you guys out in the podcast world, out on social media?
Yeah, I really appreciate that, Billy. So anywhere you're downloading podcasts, you can get the Worst Comic Podcast Ever. Spotify, Apple. Just go directly to our website. You can stream it from there, no problem whatsoever. And it's a weekly show, comes out every Wednesday, every new comic book day, and we've been doing it. We recorded episode 456 on the show floor today.
That's amazing.
So it keeps rolling, the train keeps rolling. So we really welcome anyone and everyone. It's really sort of like 3 older friends in the barbershop talking about comics and things like that. So we invite any of your listeners, or if anyone's interested in comics, we talk Disney Plus, we talk HBO Max. If it's superheroes, tights, and fights, we're about it.
Yep, that's awesome. All my friends, when I'm recommending a good comic book podcast, I always recommend you guys, and I tell them, look, we all mow our lawns, we all drive to work. It's a great thing to listen to, and not just to kill that time. It makes the time fly by, is what I'm trying to say.
Right. No, I totally understood what you were saying. Yeah, it's one of those things where, especially in this day and age, you start to make these friendships through our content. And then we go to shows and people walk up and they're like, I heard your show the other day, and you're like, oh, and so there's these new friendships that are created, right? So for us, it's more about the sharing of this hobby, this community, and it's a blessing every week to be able to be with you and everyone here. Like, we got a good group.
Yep.
For sure.
Same here, definitely. It feels like these things are kind of like family reunions.
Oh, absolutely, every year, and it's what it feels so good.
Awesome. Well, Cullen, we love your podcast. Thanks for your friendship, and thanks for hopping on today.
Yeah, it's my pleasure, Billy. It's always great to see you. Love you, man.
All right, love you too, man.
All right.
Talk to you later.
All right, bye-bye.
All right, you guys. So that was Planet Comicon 2023. If you've never been to Planet, it's a lot of fun. There's so much to do, so much to see, so many cool people to meet, so many things to get signed. It's such a good time. And more than a good time, it's kind of like you get to see your friends that you don't see all the time. And
yeah, we always get to see people around the community. It's real great.
But yeah, thanks to everyone who stopped by and spoke to us today. And thanks for everyone, again, who followed us from this con. And check out our social media every now and again, see what's coming up. And as for us here at the Taylorverse, I've been Billy Taylor.
And I'm Taylor Oxner.
And come back next week and listen to our latest episode.
Bye.
Bye. This episode was brought to you by the KingCade Arcade. For all of your arcade needs and video game fulfillment, go head on over to the KingCade Arcade at the Oak Park Mall in Overland Park, Kansas. These guys have every imaginable classic game possible. They have arcades. They have every console you could think of. They have special tournaments all the time. They set up parties and events for all of your party needs. So head on over there once again to the KingCade Arcade at the Oak Park Mall in Overland Park, Kansas. Go get a bracelet, go play free play the whole time, and have a blast.